down the road.
Here's Javier Baez now with 2 out and the bases empty. Well, think about the fact that the Cubs have Major League Baseball's ERA leader, and he's not pitching game 1 of the series. Baez lines a base hit into right. Few could argue with the decision to start John Lester. He's the pedigree guy, and he had a phenomenal year, and he, with Kyle Hendricks, is a Cy Young candidate. But to have a guy like Hendricks, who won the Cy Young or the ERA title by a lot, as your game 2 starter, speaks to the depth of this staff. Oh, and Jake Arrieta, by the way, is your game 3 guy.
Well, I just marvel at these guys right now because these 2 teams have veteran starters, and they've all been able to develop and provide innings throughout the year. Of course, the Giants rely heavily on their starting pitching. The Cubs have a more well-balanced pitching staff, including their bullpen.
Recorded. The Cubs bullpen does get to work, and now here's Javier Baez digging in with the bases empty. It is Aroldis Chapman in a scoreless game.
I also think that might be the end of David Ross. They pinch hit for David Ross with Lester being taken out of the game.
Chris Coughlin is standing in the on-deck circle in Ross's place, so wheels turning in the home dugout here. And it's a ball and no strikes to Javier Baez.
This guy is just dangerous enough and has tremendous power. He's cut back on that wiggle that you're going to see in his mechanics of swinging the bat. Which trying to make that change is a very difficult one for a young player, but that's helped cut down on his strikeouts. His power's off the charts, but his ability to expand the strike zone was off the charts last year as well. But one swing to make this crowd go crazy.
2 balls and a strike to count to Javier Baez. Well, you talk about him cutting down on the strikeout, something he did successfully while adding to his on-base percentage this year. Credit Joe Maddon for putting him in the right spot more often than not as well. That's a foul ball, and it's 2-2. As recently as 2014, Javier Baez had struck out in 41% of his plate appearances. 41%.
Yeah.
This year he cut it down to 24% of his plate appearances. And by the way, he logged in 450 of those. So it wasn't a tiny sample size over which he made that great improvement. Hitter, left-handed hitting Chris Coughlin, former National League Rookie of the Year, waiting on deck for Chicago.
That was the longest pause for Cueto right there before he delivered the pitch, and even Bill Murray saying, "Let's go."
A long-suffering Cub fan. The quick pitch. It looked, John, off the bat like that was going to get on out to Waveland.
It was. The wind was blowing that ball back as much as it possibly could. And I said this guy's power's off the chart. And that 3-2.
13th season in the majors at age 36 from the Dominican Republic. Faces Javier Baez, who was walked and struck out, and gets into this one, drives it to deep left. And it's in play off the wall. sprinting for second and diving headlong to make it. Baez with a double.
Well, he paid for it there at the end.
Yeah, he sure did.
Coming out of the box, he thought this was a home run and had such topspin on it that he had closing speed to get to second, but sliding into first, he paid the price.
Baez is a wonderful young player. So this is a general thought. But so many players think a ball is out. What's the harm in running hard until the umpire gives the signal? Then you don't find yourself in a situation where either A, you're out when you shouldn't be, or B, you're nearly out and you have to risk injury by diving like this.
He thought he crushed it right there. He put his head down similar to yesterday. And then, of course, last minute and the head first slide. Panic trying to apply the tag, and he did.
I think it's the tag that got him, right?
Right into the leg and the head.
Right, into the leg. And then the tag on top of it. Boom, boom.
Well, a lot of people don't like the head first slide unless it's avoiding a tag in a scenario, but there.
And we talked about it on Friday. The fact that when he first came up, Javier Baez struck out at an alarming rate, 41% of his plate appearances in 2014. This year, he cut that number almost in half. The check in on Russell, who stole 5 bases in 6 attempts this year.
Well, Bumgarner's gotten so much better since 2012. They stole on him like they're talking about stealing on Arrieta at 27. This year, only 6 stolen bases against him.
Remember, Russell started his plate appearance 0-2 and then saw 6 more pitches. Same for Baez. He started 0-2. And he's going to see at least 5 more, the 5th coming here. We'll talk about Baez with different results. He looks different at the plate as well.
He does. You got a split screen on the left, a lot of movement. The wiggle is a little bit more pronounced. He's cut back a little bit on the wiggle. He's more in balance on the right side, and he's able to handle those pitches over the zone. You could throw the ball up, down, in, and out in 2014, and he would swing. Now he's gotten the maturity, that a progression of a young player in the highest moments, and he's making pitchers work a lot harder than they used to.
Another 8-pitch at bat from Madison Bumgarner. And it's a full count to Baez now.
You know, it starts with not only this game being a game of adjustment, it starts with trust and being able to utilize, not being anxious, not trying to jump out at everything and hit it 500 feet. Baez has learned how to be a little bit more in control in the batter's box.
Sharply hit to third. Gillespie knocks it down. He won't have a play, and Baez is aboard on his 4th hit of the series.
This is great on 2 fronts. This is incredible battle at the plate. He hits it so firmly, but how Gillespie can able to knock that down and prevent a double and possibly a run scored is a credit to these 2 teams. Play great defense. They pitch extremely well. But
you know, Matt Moore came here in that deadline deal acquisition from Tampa Bay and turned in a number of starts with really mixed results. 12 starts as a Giant. His first 2, as that one's bounced out to shortstop. Gillespie has to dodge the bat, and Baez is safe at first and more. Ball got by Brandon Belt somehow. Baez into third. But that'll be worth another look to try to determine what exactly went wrong.
Well, what right is the hustle for Baez. He's flat out getting after it. And you see the last minute by Crawford, little crow hop, little tap, and then he's got to get after it. Watch Baez right away. He is motoring, not taking anything for granted, and it pays off. And then he gets the second, looks back and says, I can get the third. Pence takes a while to get there, of course, because it was in no man's land. And the Cubs can draw one-run closer.
Reader was a big-time fan favorite in the early 2000s here when this new place opened up. I say new place, it's almost 20 years old now, but Kurt Reader was indeed a big fan favorite. I got another tie block nugget for you, too. Pitch to Javier Baez is in for a strike. If Block gets the win in this game, he'd be the first Creighton guy to win a postseason game since Bob Gibson in 1968. Baez with a sharply hit ground ball that gets past Crawford into left center field. Go ahead run aboard with one away in the 13th for Chicago.
And here I thought you were going to say he'd be the first guy in postseason history to pitch in a tie game with the name Ty.
See, that would have been even better.
I'll tell you what, Baez has been unreal so far in this series. Full of energy.
Just a moment ago. Okay. And that was why Baez reacted the way he did.
Baez body language says he thinks maybe. The boos from the crowd suggest that some of them think maybe. What do you think?
I'm just impressed he got out of the way. He's so agile. He's shaking.
0-1 to Baez, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, both of those innings you were talking about started with a walk. You have to make them earn it in the 9th. There's something psychological about getting a free pass to start the inning, and that's what the Cubs been able to do. And a big walk in the 8th inning for the Giants last night. Bryant gets a base hit, but the walk also that comes into play. Any walk in the 9th just absolutely makes the other team feel like that gift has been given to them.
Strickland in front, 0-2. Trying to keep that go-ahead run at bay. Baez singles back up the middle. Hayward's being waved around, and Chicago has taken a 6-5 lead.
I am surprised at the pitch selection. Said it before, so it isn't like I'm saying it afterwards. This is power against power, but it should have been slider, slider, slider. These young players for the Cubs are fearless and don't give up any inch to their competitors. And the craziness continues for the Cubs in a temporary lead.